Jonathan was the son of King Saul and a dear friend of King David. The name Jonathan means the Lord gives, or as some might translate it, the Lord has given. Born with the potential to be one of Israel's greatest kings, he knew God had anointed David to the throne instead. He was torn between the love and devotion to his father, the king, and faithfulness to his beloved friend David. Since David was married to Jonathan's sister Michal, Jonathan was also David's brother-in-law. His integrity has earned him a high place of honor in the hall of biblical heroes. We are first introduced to Jonathan in the first book of Samuel, chapter 13, where we see the trouble between Israel and the Philistines, which lasted throughout Saul's reign. In verse 3, we see that Jonathan attacked the garrison of Philistines. This was a bold move, highlighting Jonathan's courage from the start. Jonathan was a true warrior, greatly loved by the people of Israel, who recognized that God was working in and through him. We are probably familiar with Saul's rash oath, which was to force the people to fast in the midst of battle. Jonathan did not get the memo, so as he was passing by a dripping honeycomb, he took a taste. When the people told him that King Saul had forbade anyone from eating, Jonathan recognized his father's foolish mistake. He understood and cared about the people's needs far better than the king. Nevertheless, Saul was as good as his word and was prepared to kill his own son for violating the foolish fast. But the people cared about him as a good leader and a godly man and protected him. Conflict came as King Saul's sanity crumbled. In a culture where family was everything, Jonathan had to choose between blood and friendship. Scripture tells us Jonathan made a covenant with David, giving him his robe, tunic, sword, bow, and belt. When Saul ordered Jonathan and his servants to kill David, Jonathan defended his friend and convinced Saul to reconcile with David. Later, Saul became so angry at his son for befriending David that he threw a spear at Jonathan to kill him. Jonathan knew that the prophet Samuel had anointed David and recognized God's favor was with David. God used the Philistines to make a way for David to become king. When confronted with death in battle, Saul fell on his sword near Mount Gilboa. On that same day, the Philistines killed Saul's sons Aminadab, Malchishua, and Jonathan. David was heartbroken. He led Israel in mourning for Saul and for Jonathan, the best friend he ever had. Jonathan demonstrates real friendship and real love. He was a hero in many ways, with the character strengths of integrity, loyalty, wisdom, courage, and the fear of God. When we are faced with a hard choice, as Jonathan was, we can find out what to do by consulting the Bible, the source of God's truth. The will of God always prevails over our human instincts.